Hello my friends, and today we see that the Russians continue to strike at Kharkiv and Sumy. Border settlements remain under fire as before. Additionally, there were explosions in the Poltava region yesterday evening.
As a result of an enemy attack on a civilian building in Poltava Oblast, one person was killed. According to preliminary information, 5 people were injured, including 3 children. Another person was rescued from a neighboring house. The roof of the building was partially destroyed, and a fire broke out. Several neighboring houses were damaged. The number of victims as a result of the Russian attack in Poltava Oblast has increased to 10 people.
And drone launches over Ukrainian territory practically don't cease every night. However, the Russian Minister of Foreign Affairs, after drones hit the Zaporizhzhia Nuclear Power Plant, decided to claim that they supposedly won't attack nuclear facilities in Ukraine because they understand the consequences. And now let's move on to the situation on the front line. Let's start with the Bakhmut direction. So today the activity here has slightly decreased. The occupiers are trying to break through in Avdiivka and Avdiivka. So 2 attacks were recorded during the day, and the occupiers didn't achieve any success. No new assault operations have been recorded around Chasiv Yar, and tactical battles and shelling continue both in Chasiv Yar and in the frontline settlements. In the Avdiivka direction, the activity today is also low. So 2 attacks were recorded in the area of Berdychi during the day. In other areas, there is a large number of shelling, but no changes along the front line have been recorded. So it's reported that confirmed information states that near Tonenke, during Russian offensive operations, 91 pieces of equipment were destroyed. So this is less than in a month. As seen, the Russians don't spare equipment and continue to use it very actively in offensive actions. Further south, in the area of Persists, the Russians also didn't achieve success yesterday. All attacks in the area of Netailove were unsuccessful, and the front line remains unchanged. In the direction of Marinka, the activity is quite high, 20 attacks per day. So battles are taking place in the areas of Krasnohorivka, Vuhledar, and Novomikhailivka. Aviation is actively used here to shell the positions of the Ukrainian forces, but this doesn't help them, and the front line remains unchanged. In addition, tanks with the new armor and paralleled are being recorded. Only the Russians could come up with such technology, and they use them in the area of Krasnohorivka. So today, videos of the destruction of such tanks have already appeared, but I cannot show them due to the YouTube rules. In the Vuhledar direction, the occupiers are attempting to storm Staromaiorske. However, the activity here is low, with 2 attacks per day, and the Russians don't achieve any success. Shelling along the front line continues both with artillery and mortars. In the Zaporizhzhia direction, the occupiers are conducting offensive actions in the area of Verbove, and shelling continues in all frontline settlements. However, over the day, the front line remains unchanged. And the US State Department stated that they are aware of the unmanned aerial vehicle attack on the Zaporizhzhia Nuclear Power Plant and called on the Russian Federation to withdraw its troops from there.
Aware of the reports of a drone attack at Zaporizhzhia Nuclear Power Plant. We are continuing to monitor the conditions at the plant, including through official reporting from the IAEA, which fortunately notes that the damage resulting from that drone strike has not compromised nuclear safety. You have heard from us before our belief that Russia is playing a very dangerous game with its military seizure of Ukraine's nuclear power plant, which is the largest in Europe. It's dangerous that they've done that, and we continue to call on Russia to withdraw its military and civilian personnel from the plant, return full control of the plant to the competent Ukrainian authorities, and refrain from taking any actions that could result in a nuclear incident. Our belief that Russia is playing a very dangerous game with its military seizure of Ukraine's nuclear power plant, which is the largest in Europe. It's dangerous that they've done that, and we continue to call on Russia to withdraw its military and civilian personnel from the plant, return full control of the plant to the competent Ukrainian authorities, and refrain from taking any actions that could result in a nuclear incident at the plant.
Thanks so much. President Zelensky called for increasing defense aid.
In the direction of Kherson, the occupiers conducted 3 assaults on the village of Krynky. Additionally, shelling of the right bank continues unabated. More than 10 settlements came under fire, and efforts to move the artillery further back have been unsuccessful. Therefore, the situation with shelling remains challenging. However, the Ukrainian forces successfully eliminate occupiers daily. In the direction of Siversk, battles are ongoing for Bilohorivka. Attacks here are coming from several groupings simultaneously, indicating a clear objective to capture this settlement at any cost. They also attempt to break through in the areas of Verkhnyokamensky and Spirny. However, the Ukrainian forces successfully repel all attacks here, and the front line remains unchanged. All assaults in the areas of Fedorivka, Rozdolivka, and Vesele didn't bring success to the Russians, and they suffered losses once again. In the Kreminna direction, activity is decreasing. There was one attack on the village of Terny during the day, but there have been no changes along the front line, although shelling continues in all frontline villages. But meanwhile, the Russians report that the Ukrainian forces are conducting successful counterattacks, and they have managed to slightly push back the front line.
In the area of Terny, we are approaching the western part. The distance has been reduced to 1.5 kilometers. In response, the Kokli are shelling our positions with cluster munitions. In Yerloptev, enemy forces were pushed back by 200 m. The enemy on an infantry fighting vehicle from the direction of Tern is firing at the attacking troops of the Russian armed forces. We are trying to cut off the enemy's supply route Avdiivka.
Overall, as it can be seen, the Ukrainian forces are not retreating, and on the contrary, are conducting successful counterattacks. All that remains for the Russians is to shell, because they have plenty of ammunition. In the area of Svatove, the occupiers shelled near the river, but no offensive actions are reported. Meanwhile, near Kupiansk, only shelling continues. The situation can be described as stable, and so far, no new large formations for a large-scale offensive on Kupiansk are being observed. At the same time, Lavrov arrived in China on an official visit, presumably to seek further assistance. However, the head of the US Treasury stated that Chinese companies should cease their support.
We also had difficult conversations about national security. President Biden and I are determined to do all that we can to stem the flow of material that's supporting Russia's defense industrial base and helping it to wage war against Ukraine. We continue to be concerned about the role that any firms, including those in the PRC, are playing in Russia's military procurement. I stress that companies, including those in the PRC, must not provide material support for Russia's war, and that they will face significant consequences if they do. And I reinforce that any banks that facilitate significant transactions that channel military or dual-use goods to Russia's defense industrial base expose themselves to the risk of U.S. sanctions. We also exchanged information on the use of economic tools in the national security space.
And that's all from me. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell to stay updated on all the latest news. Thank you for watching, and see you next time. Bye bye.